What's up, YouTube family? I just got done pitching and I came right home to make this video and hang out with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. It's good to be back. Gonna give you some life updates since you guys seem to be fond of this. And I'm going to be turning this into a podcast. I gotta do some things for it and make sure I have in my head exactly how I want to handle it at home and on the road and all that stuff. But this will be a podcast, this weekly life update thing. I'll be doing it throughout the season. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I enjoy kind of sharing my life with you guys and giving you updates and inside baseball information and stuff like that. So that's where we're going to start today, because this whole last week has been a massive... Can I cuss on this channel? I guess it's my channel. I don't even know. Anyway, it's been a massive disaster. We'll say it that way. It all started... Well, let's see here. It's been... Oh yeah, I haven't updated you on my last outing because that was only 5 days ago, and I last talked to you 7 days ago. So my last outing, I did well. I felt pretty good. I had a really good first inning and a really good, I think, third inning, something like that. But the second inning kind of got away from me a little bit. I went out there working on a lot of breaking balls, and I think I threw like the first 10 to 15 pitches were breaking balls or something like that. Ended up giving up, I walked Castellanos, ended up giving up a single or something to score a run, and then a two-run homer. But overall, that outing, I was pretty happy with it. My velo was pretty good. I think I sat 95 even, which is pretty good for a scrimmage game with little adrenaline. So I was happy about that. Threw some really good sliders and felt like I was in a good spot moving forward because I had commanded all my pitches and my stuff was good and all that. So wasn't too upset about it. But that was a 4-inning start. So I went 3 innings my first time, 4 innings that start. I went 5 innings today, and I felt like absolute, man. If you ever gone to a park, a public park, and you're feeling pretty good, you know, you're out there having fun, it's a sunny day, and all of a sudden you step in something squishy, and you look down, and your shoe's covered in poop, and it smells, and it just ruins your day. That's how I felt today. I felt like the pile of poop that you step in. It was not a good day. And this is why. This whole past week has been a massive disaster. So I went 4 innings, my last start, 5 days ago. Let's see, today's Thursday, so that would have been Saturday. Sunday, I felt really worn down. I didn't sleep too well that night, which is pretty typical of how I am after a start. I have so much adrenaline going, and I'm looking at the stats from the start and the video from it and analyzing it and all that stuff. So I didn't sleep super well that night. I went in on Sunday and I felt really worn down. CNS was, my central nervous system was really depressed. My jumps were down. My grip strength was down like 40 points. I usually hang out in like the 160 range. It was all the way down like the 120s. So it was just a day to not lift. I took a nice easy day of throwing, probably a 2 out of 10 on the intensity scale. And then I normally would get my heavy lift in that day or get a lift in that day, whatever is kind of on my program. And then I would get a massage and I would do some other stuff. So I just banged the lift, got rid of that, and just took a recovery day. Great, felt good about it. The next day, I was planning on doing my heavy lift, and I was like, okay, good. I'll get my work in on the second day, and then I'll throw a bullpen on the third day. I'll probably be a little bit sore on the third day, so the bullpen will kind of be a little bit rough. But then the fourth day will be my recovery day anyway. That'll be the end of my 48-hour soreness from the lift on Tuesday, and then, or the lift on, I guess it would have been, Monday, and I'll be good to go for my start. Wrong. Wrong, because I got pended. That's what I'm calling it. I got pended on day 2. Gotta make sure, let's see. Day 1 was Sunday, so I got pended on Monday. I woke up in the morning, I got a text from our manager, David Bell, saying, hey, call me. So I called him, David, what's up? He goes, hey, so your COVID test isn't back yet. It's still at the lab, they don't have the results, so until we get the results, I think it's just better that you don't come to the field. I said, that makes sense. You know, if we don't know that I'm negative for COVID, I don't want to go to the field and spread that to all my teammates, you know, so that doesn't make any sense. So I guess I'm staying home today. So I was in my apartment basically all day, making YouTube videos, talking to you guys, but I didn't get to lift, and I didn't get to throw, and I didn't get to run or do anything like that. I was just completely taken out of my little routine, you know. The only thing I did that day was I went to Chipotle and I got a burrito, but that was the only time I left my apartment. So the next day I get a text saying, hey, you're cleared. Your COVID test came back negative. I'm like, great, I'll go to the field. I got a nice recovery day on Monday. No, I got a recovery day on Sunday, got a nice recovery day on Monday. Now I'll be fresh and ready to go for my bullpen. And I'm gonna lift and throw my bullpen on this day. But because I'm recovered, then it won't put me in as nearly as much of a hole for my next start day, so it'll be fine, right? So I was recovered. I went out, I threw my bullpen, felt terrible because apparently taking a day off of throwing right now just puts you in a big funk. I didn't know whether the ball was gonna make it all the way to my catch play partner or like fall 40 feet short. They kind of felt the same, and then like I just couldn't, I had no range, no feel for the range of it. And then I went and got on the mound and I just couldn't really like throw hard. I don't know. It was just weird. My body felt weird. I didn't know where the ball was going. Nothing I'd felt yet. You know, this whole like new summer camp little deal that we're going through. So that was a really weird bullpen. I still threw well. We have our little competition that we do the last 10 pitches of the bullpen where you call 7, and if you execute the pitch to the location that you want, you get a point, and the last 3, the coaches call it, and if you execute those, you get 2 points. So we have a possibility of 13, and we track all of them through all our bullpen sessions and in the game and stuff like that. And we have like a leaderboard, and I was 3rd on the leaderboard, and I was like, oh, this is good. Today I have a bullpen and I have a chance to jump back up to 1st on the leaderboard. Wrong, because I had 2 pitches in the middle there that I just tried to throw a backdoor cutter and I cast it and it was just a bad pitch. And then so Caleb was like, hey, repeat that for a bonus point. I'm like, okay, that's easy because my cutter's my best strike pitch. And then I spaced out thinking about how this is going to be an easy pitch to execute, and I threw the exact same pitch again. So then I was mad because I just missed out on a bonus point and the original point, so that's 3 points, and I have a maximum of 10. And then I threw the next one and missed that one too, which of course made me mad. Anyway, I ended up getting 7 out of 13. So frustrating on that front, but I let it get away from me mentally. But it wasn't feeling great physically. So then I went and I did my recovery from the bullpen, did the rest of my workout and on the field, and I went in and I was going to do a lift because I got a lift today, right? So I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I'm like, hey, I got 2 days off. I feel great. I'm going to go and I'm going to do bench press, right? And so then I'm like, I'll hook up my bar speed measure to the bench press. So I got out my GymAware unit and I set it down there and I hooked up the string to the thing. I connected it to the app. I don't think I've updated you guys on it, but really what a pleasure it is working with the GymAware system. Like I've worked with other bar speed measurement devices before and they miss reps and you got to reset them and they don't hook up to the app and you can't get the Bluetooth to sync and it's a mess. GymAware, pleasure. I set my iPad up there, I hit connect, it connects right away. I pull the string, I attach it, I hit 0, zeros it. I move the bar, auto detects when I move the bar to start the set. I don't even have to hit the start button, and then it like measures everything perfectly fine. It's just it's a pleasure working with it. I've been really impressed with the software so far, and it's been a great feedback loop for me to understand where I am that day for my lifts. And so I'm going there, I'm doing my normal warm-up sets, and you know what? I'm pretty good. I'm like, I could set a new PR today. That's how I'm trending. So I loaded up the weight, and I'm doing my sets, and I'm like, okay. I planned on doing 2x2 because I needed to be prepared in 36 hours basically to pitch. And then I got going on it. I'm like, oh yeah, I could set a PR. So I ended up doing 4 sets of 2, and then I was going to go for a PR after that because I did my last 2 working sets at my current PR. And then I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I need to just cut it off because I got to pitch. It's not about PRs in the weight room right now. I got to get ready to pitch, blah, blah, blah. So then I did my pullovers and I did my my rows and then I did my squats and all that. But in the middle of my squat, during a warm-up set, I have the Kabuki Strength transformer bar that it allows you to like hold on to handles in front of you, and then the bar like sits around. It's like a safety bar, sits on your neck, so it goes behind and like has things that come over your neck, so it's all balanced right there. And then you can change the actual angle of the weights, so you can do you can hold it in the exact same orientation. You can do a back squat or a front squat because you can position the weight forward or back or whatever. Really, really good product. I'm really happy with it. I've used it a couple times before, but yeah, it really when I squat, I have to put the weight in front. I have to front squat because it loads the weight in a way where like I have to stabilize my core in such a way where I can get a little bit deeper on the squat because my hips I can't go full depth on squats because my hips structurally just won't allow it. And when I have the bar behind my back arches, I can't get down on a traditional back squat like very far at all. I mean, I might get like half squat. But with the transformer bar, I can get down at least like a 3/4 squat. But I use a box anyway. I just do box squats to make sure I don't mess up my hips, but I still get the strength. Anyway, I take the bar off on a warm-up set. I'm like, I got 225, this is gonna be easy. I go back, I get ready to do it. I'm just standing there, pop, right in the middle of I actually just got a pop in my back, right where it happened. I have a rib that kind of like is loose on my left side, and it like popped out of place and right back in place really quick. I'm like, oh, that's weird, huh? So I made sure to actually like stabilize my core. I did the rest of my warm-up set, did the rest of my working set, went and I did my deadlift to finish out my workout. Didn't think anything of it. Went in the training room. I was like, hey, I had this little pop thing happen. It's not really painful, nothing's going on, but I just want to make sure and like get it looked at. Can you just make sure everything's good to go? So we checked my hips. Hips were a little bit out of alignment. Got those put back in place. Checked the rib. Nothing was out of alignment there. Got a little soft tissue flush. Hey, you're good to go. Got home. Was not good to go. That night, my back spasmed up, so like I could not move more than like this. And that was 2 days ago. So yesterday, I went in and got worked on, did a bunch of warm-up stuff, like got it loosened up, was able to go out and throw super light, again, probably like a 2 out of 10 on the scale because one, my back was kind of hurt, and two, I just did a max lift the day before and I have to pitch tomorrow, and so I'm trying to recover. So my whole routine got out of whack. Then afterwards, I went in and did more recovery, and then I came home and I did more recovery, and then went to sleep last night and could not sleep, could not fall asleep, spent like 2 hours sitting there staring at the ceiling. And then when I did fall asleep, I woke up a lot because my back was spasmed, and every time I went to roll or something like that to get comfortable, and I would wake up. So I got like 40 minutes of deep sleep and 30 minutes of REM sleep, which is just absolutely awful. To give you some context, I generally try to shoot to get about 2 hours of each. And yeah, so felt just absolutely terrible. Today, when I woke up, because of all that, my back actually felt better. Actually, my back was like the thing that felt best today. So I did a really good job of getting that recovered in a very short amount of time. But yeah, woke up, did not sleep well at all. A lot of my measurements were really down. I didn't even take my jump measurements today because I didn't want to psych myself out into thinking I was going to be even worse than I already felt. So I just did not do my grip strength and did not do my jump tests. And I just said, hey, I'm going to go out there with what I got and I'm going to pitch. Got to the field 3 hours before when I would normally eat, realized we had a pitcher meeting. So I went up before eating and sat in the pitcher meeting, which went like 45 minutes or an hour long. So then I didn't get to eat until right before my warm-up started. So then I'm like, oh, this is great. So I got about 4 ounces of chicken and 2 small potatoes. And I'm like, oh, I got to go start my warm-up. So I'm trying to eat and drink stuff to like get myself enough calories and carbs and stuff to get myself through the game while I'm doing my warm-up. And then I get delayed. And then it's just all spiraling out of control, you know? And then I go out to warm up and I can't even barely throw the ball 300 feet because I'm just all out of whack. And I'm like, it's hot, it's humid, heat index over 100 today, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had a choice. I was like, I'm either gonna quit on myself right now and say, you know what, it's a scrimmage game, who cares? Just go out there, throw my pitches and get them next time and not have this happen during the season. Or I can embrace this and say, you know what, I got all the cards stacked against me today. I'm gonna find a way to win. And so that's the direction I chose to go. And I went out there and accomplished it, even though my velo was down like 4 miles an hour overall today. It just felt so bad throwing a baseball. So yeah, I sat like 91, 92. I think my last outing that I was talking about, I sat 95 plus and topped at 97. So yeah, was way down, but 5 innings on like 76 pitches. They actually had to add a hitter in the 5th inning to get my pitch count up enough because we were really trying to build me up. So that was cool. I punched out 8, walked 1, gave up 1 hit. Had a really good outing, results-wise. Didn't feel great, but had a really good outing results-wise. And I think that's a message that it's important for kids to understand. And I want to talk about a couple of those things now that my rant is over about my horrible lead-up to my start. One thing I forgot, I measure my blood every morning, and I check a protein called creatine kinase. And when that's higher, you have more muscle damage, and so that's a bad thing. So generally speaking, it's the highest after my start, and then it tails off into my next start and then spikes again. Except for today, I set a new 5-month high on creatine kinase before my start. So that's another one. So I was like, I had a lot of muscle breakdown, was not recovered, did not sleep well, didn't fuel well, didn't hydrate well, got off my routine, like threw too much, and my lifting was, I don't know, it was just a mess. But we got through it. So one point I wanted to make is to all my young followers out there that play baseball, you have a choice on every single day how you choose to approach the game. Obviously, you don't want to go into the game feeling bad. That's never good. It would be great to go out there and feel your best every single time, but that's not going to happen. No matter how well you structure your routine or how detailed you are with it, it's just not going to happen. The human body is not that programmable, So every day you show up, you have a choice on how you're going to look at the game. You can look at it as, oh man, I'm down, I'm out, get them next time before the game even starts. Or you can look at it like, hey, I got an opportunity today. I got all the cards stacked against me. This is just a chance for me to prove how good I really am, that when things are not going my way, I can still get the job done. All right? So that's an important thing to teach yourself, is how do you control what you can control, and how do you flip yourself into that mindset? So I wrote down a couple notes that I wanted to share. When you're not feeling good, things that you can control are how competitive you are. And by competitive, I mean, what's your mindset going out there? Are you trying to get the hitter out? Are you making sure you're in an external, narrow mindset? Are you making sure you hydrate and listen to your catcher and your coaches and get all the information and go out there and compete. Do everything you can to win that day. You can control that. You might not have your best stuff. You might not feel very good at all, but you can always control going out there and competing and giving your best effort. Another thing is energy. You can control how you choose to view that opportunity, and that changes the amount of energy you're able to bring. You might feel sick and not have a whole lot of energy, but Michael Jordan played, the famous flu game. He didn't feel very good. I've pitched with the flu. I've, pitched after food poisoning, stuff like that. Plenty of people have. I mean, people go out there and pitch all the time and they're not feeling well, and you hardly ever hear about it because it's their job to go pitch. And they find a way in their mind to say, you know what? With all this stacked against me, I'm still going to find a way to win. I'm still going to find a way to provide for my team what they need from me. Innings, a quality start, a win, whatever it is. But they have that mindset. They're able to go there mentally and find a way to get that out of themselves. So you can control your competition, you can control your energy, you can control your mindset, how you choose to view it. Another thing you can control is your focus. You can make sure you have a routine built in place where you're locking back in on a one specific focus for that game. Today, my focus was getting to 2 strikes as quickly as I could. I had a bet with DJ, our pitching coach, on the number of pitches it would take me on average to get to 2 strikes in a bat. We set the over-under at 3.25, meaning if I got to an 0-2 count, that was 2 pitches. If I got to a 1-2 count, that was 3 pitches. If I went 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, that would be 4 pitches, right? So you just add up all the 2 strike counts, the number of pitches it took me to get there, and you divide it. We set the over-under at 3.25. So I had a goal because I know that getting ahead in the count is going to make me successful. So that was my specific goal today. Throw strike 1, then do it again. So even though I don't feel very good, I found a pitch that I knew I could throw for a strike. Today it was my fastball and my cutter. I felt very confident that I could hit the zone with those. And I wasn't trying to be perfect and hit the top corner or the down and away corner or whatever. I was like, I'm going to throw the ball over the plate and get ahead, because that was my goal, because I knew I didn't have the best stuff and I needed to focus on something very small. So I did. I was 12 of 17, I believe, that I got to an 0-2 or 1-2 count today, which is really high for me. It's probably a mindset I'm going to take more often. But you can learn little things like that when you don't feel good and you have to find something to focus on that you can control. Oftentimes you see those games go better for you than other games where you may feel better, because your focus has to lock in on something that's going to make you successful that you can control. And that's how you get through those tough games. So something to be learned there. And another note on that is just don't let your teammates know that you feel bad. There's nothing less inspiring, and I've done this plenty of times myself. I've made this mistake. There's nothing less inspiring than a teammate coming in all excited like, hey, TB, it's your day. Like, we're going to go get him today. How you feeling? And you're like, I feel like crap. Oh, great. Well, now we got a starting pitcher going out there that feels like crap, and he's not excited about today. So why should I be excited as the position player? Like, are we going to lose today? Is this guy even ready to pitch? Do I even want him out there pitching it for us? Don't do that. The best thing to do is fake it and say, I feel great. Let's go get him, right? Like, at least then your teammates have confidence. Like, yeah, we're going to win today. Let's go get him. And even though you may not feel better, you can hide it. You can give everybody else the right energy, the right mindset, the right focus to go out there and try to win a ball game, which at the end of the day is what we're here to do. So better to just not let anybody know that you're not feeling well and go out there and just give everything you can. Your teammates aren't going to hold it against you if you have a bad outing. So you don't need to make excuses before the game to kind of prepare for why you might have a bad outing. I'm of the opinion that it's like, oh, you just be honest with how you're feeling. But in that situation, not a good time to do it. If you're not playing that day and you got a bullpen or you got a whatever the case is, and someone says, "Hey, how you feeling?" And you're like, oh, "Man, today's tough. I'm struggling with this," and then like, "Oh, okay, yeah, dude, I have those days too. Like, can I help at all?" That's an okay conversation to have. But on your start day or when you're supposed to play, you feel great regardless, unless you're hurt, and then you need to talk to your coaches or your training staff or something like that. But when you're talking to teammates, you feel great on start day. Got to inspire them. Got to give them the right mindset. I want to jump back to a thing that I mentioned earlier in my rant about my recovery. Came home and did more recovery. I finally got my full recovery suite set up. I got my Normatec out. Those are my leg sleeves. So my legs after my heavy lift were feeling pretty fatigued. So I set up my Normatec, and then I had my Mark Pro, which is the I've done a video on it actually on this channel, but it's the electro stimulation machine. It's not the same as a stim machine. Stim is like very high frequency waves, so it like kind of tingles. The Mark Pro is very low frequency, so it's like a pulse and it like twitches your arm, so it affects different parts of the body and different systems. But I had that set up. I had the heat pad set up, put some pillows down on the ground with my head leaned back against the couch, heat pad there on my back, Mark Pro on either side of my, low right, low left, top right, top left. Turn that guy on. Turned the Normatec on to a recovery flush, had those around my legs, and then I turned on the UFC fights, Fight Night from Fight Island. So I got to watch that one. I sat there for like an hour and a half just recovering, heat on the back and the whole deal, and felt great afterwards. My back was the thing that felt best today. So was really happy about that. Got my red light panel set up, my near and far infrared light panel. So I started using that again. Now they finally got shipped here. We got the shipping stuff figured out. Got the sauna set up. So I've been sitting that in the morning. So I got my whole thing set up right now. I got my supplements out, my morning shakes. It's starting to round into shape here. Next thing I need to do is get my actual studio where I'm filming these things set up. Looking into getting some neon signs and making it kind of cool. So hopefully in some future videos you see that, but no idea when that's actually going to happen. But got my recovery suite set up and my morning prep set up. Last thing I got to do is set up my chili pad that I use to keep my bed regulated temperature throughout the middle of the night so I don't wake up because I get hot. Helps drop your body temperature, which is good for recovery and sleep, keeping you asleep in deep sleep. So got to get that set up, but we're rounding into shape around here. We're almost set up. Still got about, let's see, what is today? Today's the 16th, I think. 16th. So we got 8 days till opening day. So should be in a pretty good spot for opening day. And I'm excited about that because, and I saw this today on Twitter. Oh yeah, Twitter, all the blue check marks got locked out of Twitter or something. I couldn't tweet for a couple days. Don't know what that was about, but it was like a fate worse than death, for everyone who follows me. Like, if I can't stir the pot on Twitter, I don't know what to do. I'm just kind of being satirical there, but all the blue check marks got locked out of Twitter. But today I did notice that Pitching Ninja, Rob Friedman, is back. He's doing it. He made a GIF of me throwing a backdoor two-seam. So it's always good, season's back when Pitching Ninja's back and doing his thing. Good to have him back. It's starting to feel somewhat normal-ish, kind of. I'm hoping that when the season actually starts, then it just feels normal. MLB's been piping in, this is so ridiculous. MLB's been piping in crowd noise. It's mandatory that we play over the loudspeakers like crowd noise during the game. But they can't figure out how to get tests back for the pandemic, for the virus that's keeping us from having a normal season and all these protocols. They can't figure out how to get tests back so players can go into the field on a regular basis and not have to skip days. They don't have a policy. They're just leaving it up to teams to decide, well, do you want to send your player home or do you want to keep him here at the field? But yet they can come up with the idea that it's mandatory to play their crowd noise track over the speakers for all games. Just backwards priorities, honestly. Anyway, I don't want this to be a rant about MLB. So, Pitching Ninja is back, making GIFs. I'm super excited about that. I already made the feed. Looking forward to doing that many more times this year, hopefully. All right, what else we got here? Oh yeah. Speaking of the UFC, I don't know how you guys feel about the Max Holloway fight card. I don't think we covered that last week. Man, I thought Max won that card. I really thought Max beat Volkanovski. It was a good fight card overall. I was happy about it. And I thought it was good to see Rose Namajunas back. She's had a little bit of a tough time with injuries and some freak. She got tossed on her head, I guess, is how you would describe it, and knocked out. So anyway, good to see her back, and she won. And then let's see who was after. Oh yeah, Max fought Volkanovski, and I thought Max won the fight. I didn't see. I don't know how Volkanovski won that fight, so I feel bad for Max because it's tough. I don't know where to go. I don't know where he goes from here. He's lost twice now to Volkanovski, so you can't give him a third rematch. I mean, I don't know. And then there was the Usman and Masvidal fight, which was, it went about how I expected it to go. Masvidal on 6 days had a chance on his feet. I thought he did really well on his feet. I thought if he could have kept the fight standing, he probably would have beat Usman, honestly. But Usman was able to hold him up against the cage and, step on his foot like 100 times and win on points. So I hope to see a rematch of that fight. I think that'd be really exciting, especially given a full fight camp for Masvidal. But anyway, I'm sure all my UFC fans out there saw that fight too and have their opinions on it. For all of you who aren't UFC fans, you don't really care to hear me talk about it, but I am a big UFC fan. And so I watched Fight Night last night, and I watched the Holloway card. Yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comments. Any of you out there, if you think Holloway won that fight or Volkanovski, if you want to see that Usman and Masvidal fight again, or I don't know, the fight I still want to see. I want to see Masvidal and Conor. I can't even imagine the build up to that fight, how crazy the press conferences would be, how it would be epic. And those two guys are just huge, huge social media stars. And I'm stars in fighting and everything else as well. But man, that build up would be so fun. And that fight would be so fun because both of them would stand and they'd trade. And I don't know who would win it, man. It'd be so fun. I want to see that fight really bad. Hopefully UFC makes it happen. I don't know if they will or not because it's kind of like two brightest stars right now in the sport. And you kind of lose one if they match up against each other. Whoever wins is a huge star and an even bigger star, but whoever loses kind of loses some star power. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that too if you're a UFC fan. Would love to hear your thoughts. And oh yeah, the last thing on the UFC card, Stipe is going to fight Daniel Cormier coming up on the next pay-per-view. And it reminded me of a time a couple years back in Cleveland, and I was in the clubhouse and in walks Stipe and Cormier. And I think this is like a couple months after the Cormier lost to John Jones. It must have been 4 or 5 years ago. But Stipe and Cormier are in there, and they're talking, hanging out, and with the players, and we're talking to them, and like Jan Gomes and Brandon Geyer, big UFC fans. So we were all sitting around, shooting the breeze with them and all that. And at one point I asked, hey, when are you two gonna fight? Like that'd be a fun fight, right? And like, nah. This is when Cormier was still at light heavyweight, and he's like, nah, I don't want to go up. We don't really want to fight each other. And they kind of downplayed it. And sure enough, now we're on fight number 3 between them, and they've been some epic fights. Stipe had the belt, Cormier clipped him and knocked him out. Looked like the second fight was going to go kind of the same way, and then Stipe found a hole and hit him with the body shots, and it's just vicious body shots in round 4, and really flipped that fight around and got the job done. And now you got like the two best heavyweights ever to do it in MMA, or in UFC anyway, like going to go match up for a third time. And I think they've both said that they're done after the fight. So then like whoever wins it is going to like vacate the, I don't know. It's really interesting. I'm super excited for that fight. But it was kind of cool just, you know, seeing those guys in the clubhouse. Oh no, we're not going to fight each other. And then that's the fight game. You know, 2 years later, they end up fighting each other and putting on a serious show. But I mean, both dudes are super nice. I mean, just very gracious with their time, hanging out with all the baseball guys. You know, Stipe, obviously being a Cleveland guy, was around a lot, and love everything he does for that community, and being a firefighter and all that. So shout out to those two guys. Obviously, Cormier is, you know, well, probably the best heavyweight resume to ever do it, and great commentator, and just really big in the sport. And both of them are pleasures to hang out with. So excited to see those guys fight as well. And now I'm going to go eat because I'm starving, because I still haven't eaten after the start, because I wanted to get this video out to y'all. So you'll be seeing it probably here in the next half an hour or so, depending on how fast my internet is. That's all I got. Leave me some comments, leave me your thoughts. Any questions you have, drop those below. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, I highly recommend you do it. It would help me get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2020, but it would help you keep up to date on my life and the tips and the breakdowns that I give on this channel, and answer some fan questions. Got some really exciting stuff coming out. Season's gonna be back, which means I'll be breaking down my starts in near real time, giving you insight on what I was thinking in the moment just a couple days after it happened. So haven't hit that subscribe button already, do so now so you don't miss any of that fun content, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Fan Fridays.